Hey guys, how's it going, Companion? So as you guys know, from time to time, somewhat frequently in fact, I play some ranked Hearthstone, and I don't have that much success, and when I do, I tell you guys about it. I show you guys some cool decks, often, well, let's just say always very unusual, and that's because I only play unusual decks. I basically can't stand playing decks created by other people unless they are quite exceptional, and even so, I usually get bored after a few hours of play. So I've been playing Diablo, and now that I've come back to Hearthstone, I thought I'd see how it's going on in Constructed, because maybe it's, a good time to try out a really cool, crazy deck. And I've been really disappointed. I've been really disappointed that basically I've played for maybe 5 or 6 hours of Constructed since coming back from Diablo, and I've realized one thing. Every single deck that I've played against, is, let's just say, on Tempostorm's Meta Snapshot. So this is the Meta Snapshot number 7. If you guys are so curious, I'll add a link in the description for you guys. And it basically, the guys over at Tempostorm decide what decks are the most popular and most effective right now. And basically, if you are playing Constructed, you are a fool not to use this website, because all you really have to do is copy one of the decks on it, specifically one of the ones near the top. You queue up in rank, and when you face a deck, and usually you can narrow down by class, so if you're queuing up as a hunter and you queue into a rogue, you'd assume that the rogue is the one on that list, and you can start checking off cards as they become played, because your opponent is going to play exactly that deck, just as you would have been. So that's a bit of a problem. I feel this is kind of bad for the game, but this is not something that can be actively prevented. Honestly, it comes down to the fact that as time goes on, the amount of collective knowledge and understanding, and most importantly, availability to the public, which is what Tempostorm is doing. I mean, you could find these decks on other websites as well, but they're doing a good job presenting it as a whole. This is kind of like pushing the game so it becomes more efficient for people to realize what's going on, to get a deck, and as a whole, the Hearthstone community, from the pool of available cards, comes down to a set of decks that kind of shift around a little bit, but are basically the staple decks of Hearthstone within that card set. And the amount of time that it takes to get to this stage seems to be getting shorter and shorter, and this is kind of the point of the video. I feel like this is the aspect that really needs to be changed on Blizzard's end. So what I mean is, Hearthstone was in beta for a long time. It was in beta from like August 2013, and the game was officially launched on March 11th, 2014. And the cards didn't really change. I mean, they changed a little, but they didn't really change until when Nax came out, which was 133 days later on July 22nd. And near the point where Nax was coming out, I felt like it was a little bit boring to play ranked because everyone was playing the same decks. And I think most people at that time can agree with that statement. Maybe a few weeks to a month before Nax, it was getting a bit boring. And a very similar thing happened in GVG, but I'd say I experienced it a little bit earlier. I mean, you guys know, GVG was basically the expansion that put Undertaker on the map in every single deck. Hunter and Priest and whatever alike, everyone ran that card, and it was Zooey and all that shit, and it was harder to remove minions, and it got a bit frustrating a little bit earlier. And now, we are actually 75 days after GVG was launched, and I feel we're at that stage. I feel this amount of time is shortened because of all these factors. Now, I think it's very important for you guys to understand my perspective on this. This is only for ranked play. I think tournament formats basically spice it up completely because people use tournament decks. There's a lot of strategy with the ban phases, all that kind of stuff. The fact that you improve the card pool through Arena, that's a great thing. Arena always gets better because, you can introduce a lot of cards to Constructed like they did with GVG, but people are still going to play the same few. There's the good cards and there's the shit cards, and even if cards are good, if they release better ones, people are just going to use those cards. But in Arena, you have to choose between often very mediocre cards, so the bigger the card pool, the better Arena is. In my opinion, Arena is awesome. This doesn't affect that at all. But when it comes to ranked play, which I feel affects the majority of the Hearthstone community, it's at a point where it's kind of dull. It's kind of boring. So that's the problem. So what can Blizzard do? So I mentioned a few dates. I gave you guys a few numbers. I did a little bit of research on the time between expansions because what I've learned from playing Blizzard games, specifically from playing World of Warcraft for many, many years, is that Blizzard kind of works in a very predictable way. Their expansion releases are fairly evenly spaced apart. The content blocks are fairly evenly spaced apart. So between the launch of Hearthstone and Naxxramas, there was a period of 133 days. The period between Naxxramas launch and GVG was 139 days. So that pretty much gives us a pretty interesting period where we have some idea of when the next expansion is going to be launched. And that's actually going to be about mid-April, so about 2 months from now. We're 75 days in from when GVG was launched to this date. And this kind of matches an Activision insider report. This was debunked, so this is not anything official, but it is basically someone who I guess pretended to be an insider and gave out some information, but it was in many ways accurate. And I thought what was most interesting was how these predictions could have been made. And through the date analysis that I just presented you guys, it is basically the same. So he does mention that, again, this is not an actual insider, but he does mention that the next Hearthstone expansion is slated for April, which does match the common period that expansions seem to be released under in Hearthstone, and that will be a PvE expansion. Now, we don't have any news from Blizzard that I've really seen that guarantees that it will be a PvE expansion, but we do know that GVG was not a PvE expansion like Naxxramas was, with the adventure mode, with that kind of stuff. And I really think that the PvE aspect of Hearthstone is one that really has just been like scratched. So it's not really in depth too much. I mean, I've gone back and played Naxxramas, and it has been amazing experience playing GVG cards. It's just such a refreshing experience to play the Naxxramas content again and again, even with small variations, just because of the new cards. And I feel that the PvE adventure mode style of play in Hearthstone is one that will be significantly expanded in the future, just because it's a field that's great and can be expanded in the future. So I don't know if it'll be a PvE expansion, but I would also expect it for one to be. But that aside, I do want to mention that we just talked about how things are getting stale a little bit earlier and earlier in terms of ranked play, but the expansions, they haven't really been coming out any sooner. So I feel that might be a problem. I feel that might actually cause the game to slow down in growth, as we've kind of seen a bit recently. Hearthstone kind of exploded when it launched, and in the more recent times it hasn't really grown too much. So that kind of is in line with that. And my prediction is that Blizzard, they're a pretty good company. They're smart. They know what's going down. And I think we can expect earlier expansion launches, maybe not in the next one, but perhaps from then on. Because Hearthstone is a game that it's almost to the point we're at a science right now. We have, the community is basically a deck creating, optimizing machine, and it's getting better. And for Blizzard to keep up, they got to put up the content, they got to put it up faster, they got to make it more complicated, they got to make it more interesting for the game to grow at the rate at which they expect to grow. So, all in all, I expect good things from Blizzard, but I really hope they do a good job. Overall, I'm really looking forward to a PvE expansion. As I mentioned, I did have some fun with the Nax bosses recently, and I wanted to show you guys just a quick video just to include some gameplay today, so you guys can really understand the card interaction between these bosses, the real experience that you have facing a completely different type of gameplay within the Hearthstone client. It's so cool. I hope there's more of this stuff. I hope we'll see some cool stuff pretty soon. And even if it's on date, I mean, the next expansion is 2 months away, so we'll probably be seeing some expansion news probably about a month from now at the very latest. And, well, Let's hope it's good. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Like, oozing the opener is good.
You asked for it.
Snow Chugga will work for a little bit. Those cards are good, but they're not what's going to protect the Snow Chugga. Okay, if I coin out the ooze, he won't have it. Oh my god! Game over! Game over, bros. Alright. Oh no, he can kill that thing. Damn. Okay. Well, it's time for Jeeves. Will it kill him? Like, won't that kill my guy? I feel like it will. I'll just give him a piece of shit weapon. Let's see what happens. Alright. There's a few more for you. Oh, so sad.
I'm ready.
There you go. Actually, I want to see what he does.
Shields up.
He's gonna destroy Jeeves, right? No? Okay. Is he gonna kill himself? Nope. He's just gonna pass. Rip. Easy game.
My avatar of war. I should have sewn him together from better players.
Easy game.